All right, we're
We're
live.
we're back. For a second there, I got worried. It took a while. I was like, "Uh-oh."
Hey, everyone.
Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us in our Zapier. I don't know how you pronounce it actually.
Zapier?
Tavis, what do you think? Oh, you're
Oh, no.
muted.
He said Zapier.
Oh, am I not hearing him then? That's so weird.
Oh, no, no, no. Sorry. I'm putting words in his mouth, but
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's Zapier.
It probably is Zapier. I say Zapier, which is probably incorrect. So just have fun listening to that the whole way through, because I can't change. But
Zapier.
yeah, hopefully, I don't know. Somebody's doing construction right outside my house too, so hopefully that's not going to be too loud.
Yep. And well, we're going to give it a couple more minutes just to make sure everyone's in for today. But welcome, everyone. If you guys want to say hello in the chats and then let us know how you pronounce Zapier, I'm not sure how you'd let us know in a chat, but go ahead and try that. Is it Zapier? Is it Zapier? I'm going with Zapier because it's a zap.
It probably is supposed to be Zapier, but again, it's one of those things where once you get it kind of stuck in your head, it's just forever that way.
Oh,
Hey,
hello,
Tavis.
Cal. There you go. Still can't
We
hear
can't
you.
hear
Oh,
you
no.
now. We could literally hear him before we started the thing. So,
Oh, no.
hey,
Well,
Cal, thanks for joining.
yeah. And in case you're here for the first time joining us on our webinars, we'll just introduce ourselves. I'm Danny. I'll be your co-host for today.
And I'm Phil, and I will be hopefully you're good enough host to walk you through how to set up Zapier, whatever, and get it working with inFlow.
Thank you, Cal. We got a zap here, a Zapier.
Yeah,
And
and Carrie Ann, see, she's saying Zay. That's Zapier.
all
I
right, all
agree.
right.
I agree. Good stuff.
Can you
Hey,
hear me?
Betsy. Yes, I can hear you, Tavis.
Finally.
What's the verdict?
It is Zapier. Their
Ooh.
tagline is Zapier makes you happier. And that's how you remember
There should still be Zapier makes you happier. Happier?
That's got a better ring to it.
Yeah. All right, let's just give it a couple more seconds, see if anyone else is joining, then we can start it, just because we got a bunch of stuff to go through. Don't want to take too long.
And bonjour, Marguerite. Hello.
That Danny flexing her French skills.
Yeah. Well, gotta. We're in Canada, It's our second language. Gotta try at least.
Definitely. Give it at least a try.
Hapier with Zapier.
There we go. That's it. I like it. All right. Well, I think we'll get started. And if anyone else needs to catch up, this will be recorded and we'll post it online later too, so people can take a look at it at their leisure. So welcome to the webinar, Zapping Your Workflow with Zapier. Again, a big thank you. We're hoping to give a lot of information about Zapier, the integration today, but it does connect with hundreds of different apps, and there's no way that we can show you how to use all of them. So we've picked a couple that we feel give a good understanding of the integration, and kind of the rest of it, you're going to have to experiment and use your imagination just to figure out exactly what you can do. So just a brief look at today's topics. We're going to go over what is Zapier, what makes up a Zap, some of the different plans, just because Zapier, you do need an account with them to use the integration, and then creating a Zap, customizing them, and then just a really quick look at a couple ways that you can kind of troubleshoot if your Zaps aren't firing. So what is Zapier, or what is a Zap? It's an app that lets you automate repetitive tasks with customizable workflows. So it's something that's there just to make your life easier, to hopefully automate things that will just make your workflow or your life and everything a little bit easier. These tasks that you create, this is what Zapier calls Zaps. So that's what we'll be referring to throughout the entire webinar. What makes up a Zap? Basically, they're made of two main parts. You've got an event, which is going to be the thing that triggers the Zap to happen. So this is going to be something happening from inFlow. So this could be anything like a sales order being created, a customer being updated, an invoice going past due. And then the second half of it is going to be an actual action. So this is going to be the reaction to that event. So another program or an app or something like that doing something based off of what's happened that you've set up. So this could be sending like an email or sending a message in Slack or creating like a customer in Salesforce or something like that. So there are hundreds of different apps that Zapier has added. So you can really do pretty much anything. This is just kind of a quick few examples of things that you can do if you're making a Zap. Again, like sending an email when a purchase order is created or updated, or sending an email as well with an invoice when it's past due. You can send messages on Slack when new sales orders are created, or creating deals in HubSpots. As well as like subscribing people to your MailChimp lists, or adding customers to Pipedrive, Salesforce, any of those different kinds of things. So again, take a look through Zapier's list of apps that support it, and there are tons and tons that you can find. Now, again, you do need a Zapier plan to actually be able to use the integration. They do offer a free account, but the free accounts do have limits. So I just wanted to kind of briefly go over those limits and what some of the paid plans do give you. So you can find all their plans on their actual website. We got a link to it here on the screen. But basically, with the free account, just go over kind of the different columns here. You've got the amount of tasks that you can actually perform each month. So these are the automated tasks. So this is how many times each Zap can actually, or all your Zaps can fire. How many Zaps you can create. Update time is actually talking about how long in between Zapier will actually be checking for updates. So how fast they will fire. And then multi-step Zaps is actually kind of a really handy feature that they've added in, where you can actually add in things like filters or multiple actions from a specific Zap. And then premium apps. Premium apps are specific programs that Zapier has deemed, I guess, to be like premium. So things like Zendesk, I believe Salesforce, and a few others, you need to have a paid plan to actually be able to use them. So you can see on here with a couple of the different pricings that you can get more tasks, you get more Zaps, and then if you go with like the higher plan, you can even get like a faster update time. So it's constantly checking for new triggers and events a lot faster. And again, you can find all this information on their website. And so yeah, just a couple of the premium apps that they have on there: Shopify, Zendesk, Salesforce, QuickBooks Online, and PayPal. And they do have like a full list of them on the website as well. So the first thing that you need to know how to use the integration is how you can connect it to inFlow. This is actually really, really easy. Basically, all it is logging into your inFlow account and then logging into your Zapier account. And so we got a really quick little demo here that we can show you how you can do that.
Setting up the Zapier integration is really easy to do. All you have to do is log into your account at app.inflowinventory.com. Then you'll want to go into the account settings. You can get either to that from the email address up here, or you can go into the menu, down to options, and then into the integration section. Once you're here, you just click on setup on the Zapier button. It's going to give you quick information on how you can actually set up the integration, but basically all it is logging into your Zapier account, and then you can make your new Zaps. So if we hit setup, it's going to open up the Zapier website in a different window. You log into your account. Here it's going to give you a confirmation that you've been invited to use the inFlow app in Zapier. All you have to do is hit accept invite and build Zap. This is then going to take you to your Zapier page, and from here you'll be able to actually create your Zaps.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, nice and super easy to connect your integration. And the next thing we can go over is creating a Zap. But I think, Danny, you had something you wanted to talk about first.
Yes. So just as a thank you for you guys for joining us on this webinar, we wanted to give away a free month of inFlow Cloud to a lucky winner. We'll actually choose 2 of you guys. If you wanted to enter, just go ahead and let us know what you'd like to have automated in your inFlow workflow. Is it sales orders? If there's anything more specific, like when a sales order comes in or is created, go ahead and let us know in the chats what you're looking forward to automating, and we'll choose two winners, and we'll be giving away a free month of inFlow Cloud. So go ahead and let us know what you're looking forward to automating, and how much easier your life might be if you set up this integration here. But yeah, we'll look out for your messages.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
Just hopping on before we continue, Nick messaged, he said he couldn't see the video for setting up Zapier. Is anyone else having any issues viewing the videos when we shared the screen share?
Yeah, just let us know in the chats there.
Hopefully everyone can see.
And there is a little bit of a delay with our with us seeing the chats, so we'll give it a few moments. Yep. Betsy says yes. Katie's all good, so I think we're okay. Sorry about that, Nick. Let us know if you're still having trouble. Do message us privately, and we'll see if we can troubleshoot that.
Cool. Thanks. You. Cool. All right. So creating Zaps. They're actually made really, really easily. You can customize them a lot, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But basically, all you need to do is kind of decide what kind of a Zap you want to create and what event you're going to use from inFlow to create it, and then obviously what action you want it to take after. So we do have a few different events that you can choose here to be used in your Zap. So we can go over them really quickly here, but they're all pretty self-explanatory. So the first one here, new or updated sales orders. This is going to trigger whenever a sales order is created or updated. So again, pretty self-explanatory. A new sales order past due. This one triggers when a sales order has not been paid after a certain amount of days. So this one is actually really cool that you can kind of customize and say, like, if you set a due date on your invoices after 10 days or something that you wanted to send an email, then you can actually do it like that. New or updated purchase orders, just like the sales orders, when the purchase order is either created or updated, it's going to set off the event. New or updated customers, again, same thing, same with the vendors. An interesting one, the new lapsed customer. So this triggers after a customer hasn't ordered after a certain amount of days. So again, there are a lot of different kind of creative things you could come up with that. Maybe just to remind them or check in with them to see what's going on. And then a new or updated sales quote. So again, if you're doing a lot of quotes, you can also have those trigger some of the Zaps as well too.
And just, I guess, a quick question before we go into that demo from Harris. It seems that the Zapier integration is only inFlow to third party, but I don't see any from third party into inFlow. So it's just one way, correct?
Correct. Right now that there is no way for another one to insert or anything like that into inFlow. That may be something that we may expand out to in the future kind of thing, but that would have to be like a phase 2 with the API, or sorry, with the integration.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so let's do a quick demo on how you can create a Zap.
Okay, so creating a Zap, this is actually really easy, so let's go over it together. all you need to do first is log into your Zapier account. And once you log in, it'll most likely take you to your dashboard. This is where you're just going to see a whole bunch of information about previous Zaps and what's been going on with the account. If you click on Zaps here on the left-hand side, you'll be able to see all your different Zaps that you have set up already, as well as the button here to create a new Zap. One thing that I like to always do first is name my Zap. So I try and name it something that I will recognize. So when I'm just looking through my list of Zaps, I can easily identify which one it is. So for this one, we're going to make a Slack message for new orders. The first thing that you'll need to then do is choose what app and event is going to trigger it. So our event is going to be an inFlow one. So if we choose inFlow, you'll then see all the different triggers that you can choose. So you've got newer updated sales orders, new sales orders past due, newer updated purchase order, newer updated customer, newer updated vendor, new lapsed customer, or new and updated sales quote. For this one, we're going to use a new or updated sales order. So if you select the trigger, hit continue, it's then going to ask you to select what account. So if you had multiple inFlow accounts linked to your Zapier account, you'd be able to choose which one it is in here. I just have my one, so it's just going to be that one. Then it's going to be asking you a few options to customize when you want this trigger to fire off. Here we've got a few different options. So this is all set from inFlow. We're talking different like inventory status. So here you could have it only trigger if this order is set as unfulfilled, or if it's set as started, or if it's set as fulfilled, or if you leave it blank, it'll be for all inventory statuses. The payment status you can also customize if it's uninvoiced, invoiced, partial, paid, or owing. Again, or if you leave it blank, it's for all payment statuses. And then we have an option on here to only trigger once per order, or if you want it to trigger every time. So this one you would want to pick on here. So if, again, you only want a notification when there's a new sales order made, you would want to pick it that it's only updated once. If you want it every time that something changes on this one, then you're going to want to choose false and have it update for each time. Once you select all your options, you're going to hit continue, and it's going to then try and find data from inFlow that you can test to see if your trigger is doing exactly what you want. So we hit test trigger here. This is then going to call inFlow's API and try and get some information. So you can see here, there's a big long list of information here. It's actually pulled 3 different sales orders, which is what it will always do. It'll try and pull 3 different orders. If you scroll through it, you can actually see a whole bunch of different information about it. And this is where you can kind of check to make sure that it is pulling the correct information. So on this specific sales order C that it's got here, you can see it's getting an address for this customer, underwater, Atlantis, country is ocean. The contact name is Aquaman. Yes, I'm a big DC fan if you couldn't tell. It's pulling in the custom information from my custom fields. This is going to give you everything that it can possibly get. So inventory status was unfulfilled, the invoice date, whether it's canceled, whether it's completed or invoiced. So again, this is all the information that inFlow is able to send over to Zapier based on the trigger that you set up on there. So you can take a look through it, make sure that everything looks good. If you need more examples, you can switch to another sales order. And so this one we can see is for a different customer. We got Wonder Woman who bought something. And again, you can kind of just go through, and you can also search. Like if I wanted to find the sales order, the order number, I can search in order number, and I can see that it's pulling in the order number here. It's also pulling in the order date, as well as order ID and everything. Or if I wanted to see the contact, and then you can easily switch between to see all the different ones. So we got Batman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman all here. So it looks good. Then we can hit continue. This is now, we've set up our trigger. We're now selecting our action. So what's going to happen once this trigger goes. So for this one, I'm going to use Slack to send a message. Again, I'm choosing Slack as my app, choosing an action. So just like we did with the trigger, you get to choose an action for what you want it to do. So like with Slack, you can send a channel message, a direct message, you can create reminders, you can even create channels, update profiles, you can do a whole bunch of different things. Here we're going to choose send a channel message and hit continue. If I didn't have an account already set up, it's going to ask for me to log into one here. I've already connected mine here, so I can select it, and we're going to continue. And then now this is the meat of the message. This is where you can actually choose how this trigger and action are going to show up. So this was going to be different for every single different app that you choose. So if I chose Gmail for the action, it's going to give me options for sending an email. Because I chose Slack here, it's giving me options for sending a message. And again, this is going to be very open because it can be different for every single different app. But in this instance, since we're sending a message, we can pick a channel. I created one a little earlier for Zapier notifications, so I can choose that channel. And now, so the message text, if you click into it, you're going to quickly see insert data. So this is actually then pulling all that information that we were looking at in the test up above. So we can actually use any of that information. So we can say new order. And then if I search in here, order number, click it, it's going to now put that in here. So my message is actually going to show new order, which is what I typed out, and then it's going to populate with the actual information of the order number from inFlow. So in this case, in the test example, it was SO57. We can do like customer, do contact name, and maybe we'll just do like the total. So my message is going to have three things in there: the new order number, the customer, and the total. Now, again, there's a whole bunch of different options. This is all based on Slack. So I can choose whether I want it to send as a bot. I could rename the bot if I want. By default, it's going to call it Zapier. You can even change the icon. If you want to include a link, you can attach images. And all these things that you can customize. You can even schedule the message to be posted later, attach files. Again, like there's a whole bunch of different things, and this will be different for every single different app that you're connecting with. But we'll hit continue. We'll leave it pretty simple. And again, it gives you kind of like an option where you can review just to make sure that everything is set the way that you want it. And we can test and continue. So what this is now saying, it's saying that a test channel message was actually sent to Slack. So I should have an update right away. It's going to show you kind of all the things that it sent across. And if I switch over to my Slack right now, here we go. We can see Zapier, new order, 57, customer Batman, and the total was 0. So it's using the custom information that we pulled from that test order, and going forward, any new orders, it's actually going to then trigger with the new information. So if we're happy with that and it all looks good, we can actually then just hit turn on Zap, and this is going to actually activate it so that it's now going to be live. And if I create a new sales order, it's going to actually then send that Slack message. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly make a new sales order just so we can test that out. Okay, so we'll just put this in really quick and easy. Now if I hit save, we've now created a new order. And in Slack, I can actually see, so new order 60, customer Aquaman, total 121,750, or 75, sorry, 121,775, is exactly what we just created here. So that Zap got it right away and was able to send it there. There you go. We got a Zap all set up.
All right, that was awesome.
Okay, there we go.
Nice little Zap. And thank you everyone who's been commenting on what you're looking forward to automating. So we got some pretty interesting things like sending out an email to a customer when a sales order is created. So that's exciting. Thank you for sharing all that, guys. We're keeping track of everyone who's entering the contest.
And if you have any questions or anything, again, about any of the specific stuff that we've shown, definitely leave a comment in there. We'll either reply to it here, or we can definitely get back to you after the fact too as well. So the next big section that we kind of want to talk about, we briefly touched on it in the creating a Zap, but customizing them. There are a lot of different things that you can do to customize them. inFlow does pass as much information to Zapier each time that it is triggered based on the event you've selected. Using this information, you can customize your action however you would see fit, kind of thing. Again, customizing that email or that message or anything like that. It also does offer helpers. Again, if you're not on the free plan doesn't include the filters or paths or extra actions, but if you're on any of their paid ones, these are included, where you can actually then set a filter where you can use that custom information from inFlow to narrow down when you want the action to actually trigger. So we can show this one. We're going to do a quick email demo where it'll show even more of the customization features on there.
Okay, so customizing Zaps. There's a lot of different ways that you can customize them. So unfortunately, there's not a way that I could kind of go over and show you every single different way. One thing that I thought would be a good way to kind of show you is I do have a Zap here set up with inFlow and Gmail, where it actually will send an email to overdue customers. So if I click on this in my Zaps, I can actually see, so we'll quickly go over kind of how it works and kind of some of the customizations in there, and I can show you some of the other things that you can do. So again, the app, we've got inFlow chosen. This one is using the new sales order past due trigger. I've got my account chosen. And then in this one, the customization options are the amount of days that the order is past due. So I have it set that as soon as it's 1 day past due, that it's going to trigger the action, which in this case is going to be an email. But you can set this as any amount you want. So if you wanted to wait a week or 30 days or something like that, that you can definitely set it up to go that way. Again, just like the old one, it fetches the data just to kind of test out to make sure that it's pulling the correct information. And so this one I had set up previously, but if you hit load more, it will search again. And this is going to give us some different information for the ones that it's pulled. So again, we've got some different options in here that we can actually see. So like due date. Now, one thing with this trigger is that it is going to pull any sales order that is older than the 1 day as well. So I've got it set for 1 day or older. So because of that, maybe I want it to only trigger for that one specific day. This is where kind of customization comes in even more. So we can see that this one was due on August 27th, which is more than 1 day ago, and I may not want it to trigger for this one kind of thing. So we can hit continue, and In here, you can actually see that there's these little plus buttons. If you hit either one of these, it's actually going to add an extra step in between. So right now, it's the trigger is when we've got the new sales order past due, and it's sending an email in Gmail. If I click this plus button in between, I can actually then set something else to happen. And one thing that Zapier has built in, they've got these helpers that they've created. So you can do like a filter, a delay, a formatter, or sometimes you can even do paths where you can set up the Zap to actually do different things based on different results. In a case like this, we could actually set up a filter where basically if the order or the due date, if we search in here, has to be greater than, or sorry, after, we want it to be after, let's just say September 1st, 2020. So here we can see that the sample that I had chosen does not match because the filter is looking for ones that was after September 1st, and this one was August 27th, which is good. So that means we've now filtered out that one. I can always go back here and see if I did have one that was after that, and we choose one like this, whose due date was September 6th. This one should then actually trigger from the filter if we test it. There we go. Your Zap would have continued because this one is actually matching. So it has to be past September 1st, which we've got September 6th here as the due date. So that means we're going to move on to the next step, which is our Gmail action. So again, this setup part here would have been pretty simple. You're picking your Gmail, you're choosing your actions, so like sending an email, creating draft, labels. Again, you got lots of different options here. Here we're sending an email, you choose your account, and then again, here comes even more customization where you can actually then choose exactly how you want this email to come through. You actually can choose the email address that you want to send it to. I have it sending it to myself because most of the customers in my database don't have actual email addresses, but you could very easily in here, if you just click, you can search email and you'd be able to find like the customer email. So you could actually put that in there and it's going to then populate based off of the information that's in inFlow. But again, I don't have that set, so we'll just leave it as sending to mine. And if you wanted to have multiple, you would just have to put a comma in between and you can set it up so it tells you right below. Again, you can set up like carbon copies and the BCCs as well. And it's going to give you the option. Again, this is from who it's coming from. This is coming from my account, so we've got it set there. You can change the from name that it's coming to, the reply email. And in here, we've got where you set up the subject. So I've set up that it's using the customer's name and it's saying it has an overdue bill. And then here you can actually then even set up if how you want the actual body of the message to come through. So if you want to just use regular plain text, nice and easy, you can set it that way. Or if you want to use HTML to make it look fancier and add different stylings and everything like that, you can. So here we're just sending a quick email to myself saying this is to let you know that, again, we've inserted the customer name as well as the contact name, has an overdue bill. I've got the order number, the amount paid, the balance, as well as the due date all in there. And again, all this is very easily just added by entering in some kind of data and then just searching and finding that specific field that we wanted from inFlow that it sent over. So you can get any bit of information that you need. You can show all the options if you don't know what you're looking for. And again, it's going to give you the actual field name here. and then it's going to give you some sample information from that order that you selected up above. So again, like if I wanted to include the phone number, I've got a fake phone number in here. As well, you can kind of go through and you can choose any of the options that you actually do want there. Okay, and so once you get down to the send data part, you can then test it out. This, because it had sent out before, we can just hit retest and continue. This is going to use the new settings. And it is going to, there we go, test email was just sent to Gmail now, meaning it should have gone through. I've done editing. And if I check, so we can actually see, there we go. So I did get the email. Again, I had sent it to myself. So to let you know that the customer had an overdue bill, gives you all the information, and it is all set in there. And there you go. So that's the main points on how to customize your Zaps, because there are a lot of different options. Again, if you have issues or questions with any of them, you can always definitely reach out to us and we'll try our best. But again, we don't have access to every type of application or anything like that that you can set. Again, there are hundreds and hundreds of different apps that you can choose. So we will definitely try our best to be able to help you. But some of them we may not be familiar with, so you may need to speak with like Zapier or the actual company that made the integration or anything.
Okay, there we go. So that's hopefully helpful. A bit more information on customizing the different Zaps and how you can customize them that way. Thank you to everybody who's been in the chat and everything. I see Danny and Tavis have been responding back there, so that's awesome. Hopefully we've answered your questions there. So the last section that we kind of wanted to quickly touch on here was just a really brief overview of kind of troubleshooting your Zaps. Zapier does provide a task history, so you can see when or if your Zaps have triggered. And this is probably the best and the first thing that I would always say to check to see if there's a problem. They do also have really good troubleshooting guides. If you get any kinds of errors or anything, if you check their articles, they do have a lot of information that you can find that will probably tell you, like, if you get a certain error code, you may be missing something. So we can quickly, I just want to show you where you can find that in your Zapier account.
I just wanted to show a really easy way to check to see whether your Zaps are firing properly. This is kind of the first step that I would say whenever you need to troubleshoot if something is going wrong or not firing. If you log into your Zapier account, when you look on the left-hand side here, you'll see there's a task history. If you click this, it's actually going to show you a list of the Zaps that you've set up that are all active, and it's going to actually give you some stats like how many times it's been used, if it has any issues. So this would be if it's expecting a certain amount of information and something's not coming through, it'll usually tell you on there. It's also going to tell you the last time that it ran, and you can actually click into them to see a little bit more information. So you can view the task log, which is then going to give you some details on when it's actually been fired, kind of thing. So you can see when it was done. If you click into them, you can actually see the information that was sent. So you can see here that it sent the email and everything like that. You can even see the details of it. So this would be your first point of checking to see if something is going wrong with your integration or not. As well, they also do have this little get help section on the left hand side. If you click it, it's going to load up their kind of knowledge base, and it does actually have this nice troubleshooting Zaps section here, which will have a lot of information that could potentially help you figure out what might be going wrong. Again, since we can only control the inFlow side of things, everything else is going to be based on everyone else's integration with Zapier. So taking a look at this gives you some kind of like the common codes and stuff like that that you might encounter. So checking these kinds of things first would be a great help for trying to figure out what's going on with your Zaps.
Okay. That's pretty much it for everything that we had on Zapier. Thank you for sticking in there. If you have any other final questions or anything, you can definitely pop them in there. And I think we need to pick a couple winners.
Yes. And while we pick the winners, there is one question from Mark. I'm not sure if Tavis is typing away, but one of his questions is, can a trigger be time-based? So, for example, a trigger invoked at 2 p.m. every day. Is that possible?
That is actually a good question. I am not sure off the top of my head.
So I don't think you can say like trigger this all the time at 2 p.m. every day. A lot of our triggers are based off of, let's say, whenever a sales order or a purchase order is created or updated. Those ones are instant, so they happen right away. Whereas the ones that are kind of, Phil touched on this a little bit on the basic or the free plan with Zapier, they wait 15 minutes. So those ones are the ones like overdue bills. Those ones, they wait 15 minutes to do a batch, and then they send out the actions. So we can't really control them too much. And Zapier actually charges more if you want to have that happen every 2 minutes. That's like their premium plan. So yeah, unfortunately right now you can't schedule it to be like at an exact time every day.
All right, and we do have the winners. So we do have a couple more questions, but just to announce the two winners for today, it's going to be Betsy and Cal. So congratulations, you won a free 1 month cloud, 1 month of cloud. Sorry. So if you wanted to, maybe if you want to reach out to us directly, or if we'll be able to reach out to you. We've got your registration here, so we'll reach out to you. It'll be 1 month of free cloud. So thank you for letting us know what you're excited to automate. We've got another question from Harris. I can see that I can send sales orders and purchase orders to Xero through Zapier. Any tips and tricks related to that?
So personally, I haven't used Xero, and I don't have a Xero account. Did do a quick look on there, and so I see like you can create a bill, create payment, the invoice, contacts, all that kind of thing. So I'm going to assume it's going to be very similar to kind of what we were showing with like Slack and Gmail. Once you pick one of those actions, it should just give you kind of those program specific customizations that you can do. We can definitely take a look into it to see if I can find anything more, or if you have any issues with it, we can try and figure that out. So if you want to shoot us an email at support@inflowinventory.com, we can definitely take a look and try and help out with that.
And then a question from Yusuf here. So can anyone use this function, or is this only available for specific plans?
So it just counts as one of the integrations for inFlow. So as long as you are, sorry, I'm just pulling it up here. So on like the light plan, you are allowed 2 integrations, which is like the basic plan right now, and then standard and plus you have more. So as long as you're not using too many integrations, then you should be able to use it for sure. Yep.
Okay. Any other last questions? We've got a little bit of a delay here with the chats, so we'll just wait a little bit. But if you guys do have any other questions, or while you're trying out the integration and you run into any trouble, please reach out to the support team. We'll be happy to help.
Yep, for sure. It's one of those things where it's very difficult since there are so many different moving parts and everything, but it also makes it interesting because, again, there's so many creative things that you can actually kind of do with it that it's definitely really cool.
Yeah, I did my first Zap this morning, and it was really easy, and now I'm really motivated to automate the rest of my life. So I think it'll be very helpful for a lot of people. I'm excited for that. So
yeah, who knows? Maybe you'll find other ways of automating things outside of inFlow as well too.
Oh yeah, that's an exciting prospect. So I'll be looking into that. So we don't have any more questions for now. We'll leave it at that then. And yes, if you have any questions at all, please reach out to us over email, live chat, or you can request a call back if you'd prefer to speak with someone. But otherwise, thank you for joining us, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All
Have
right.
a great rest of the day.
Take care, everyone.
See ya.